Hello students, welcome to Ganviar School of Education, Suresh Ganviar University. I'm Dr. Sonia Kaur Bansal, and today I'm going to teach a very important topic which is related to the subject English language, and the topic is adjectives. So we are going to understand about adjectives, and my learning objective is to make you understand about what are the adjectives, what are its different types. So students, at the end of the class, you will be able to understand and grasp the concept of adjectives in a very finer way. So let's start adjectives. So first of all, let's understand students, what are the adjectives in English language. As we all know that English language has four devices: prose, poetry, grammar, and composition. And adjective is a very important part of grammar device. And here we are going to understand that adjectives are words that are used to describe what kind of nouns and pronouns, and to quantify how much of, and identify which one them. So in a nutshell, adjectives are what define nouns and give them characteristics to differentiate them from other nouns. So I hope you are understanding the definition of adjectives, and these are the words that are used to describe the noun and pronoun, like in a quantify manner, in a describing manner, and identifying manner. Clear, students? So let's understand the different types of adjectives one by one. So let's understand first of all adjectives of quality. So as its name is suggesting, adjectives of quality. So these adjectives are used to describe the nature of a noun, what type of noun it is. They give a clear idea about the characteristics of the noun by answering the question what kind of person, what kind of place, what kind of thing. All right, students. So quality is telling you something about the characteristics. It is describing you the way it is. All right. So let's have a look on the examples of adjectives of quality. Like if we say a person is an honest person, the person is a kind, large, bulky, beautiful, etc. So these are all the examples which are showing us the clear concept about the noun, that what kind of the person is. It can be described in a qualitative manner. All right. So adjectives of quality are used to describe the quality of a noun. And in the second example, you can see New Delhi is a large city with many historical monuments. So if I ask you this question, what type of city it is? So we can answer large. So it is telling you the quality with many historical monuments. This is the quality of New Delhi, that it is having many monuments. Then in the third example, Sheila is a beautiful woman. Now, this is the sentence which is describing the characteristics of Sheila. What type of woman she is. So the characteristic adjective beautiful is attributed to Sheila to clear her characteristics. Okay, students. So I repeat, adjectives of quality tell you the quality of noun, what kind of. Clear? I hope you are understanding. So now let's understand the next adjective, that is adjective of quantity. As in quality, we have told what kind of. So in quantity, we actually lead towards the number, amount, how much. So these type of adjectives help to show the amount of the approximate amount of the noun or pronoun. These adjectives do not provide exact numbers. Rather, they tell us the amount of the noun in relative or whole terms. So let's have a look on the examples how the adjectives of quantity can be defined. Like there are some words given to you on the screen like all, half, many, few, little, no, enough, great. So these are all the words, students, which are clearly telling you the quantity of noun. All right, like in the example, you can see in the second sentence, they have finished most of the rice. That means how much rice they have finished. They are not going to tell you the exact number, but it will give you the clear idea, most or half, how much it is. All right, so if it would have been like they have finished few rice, little rice, you definitely get the clear idea that how much rice is now left with us. All right, so if it would have been like that, they have finished the rice, so that means it is telling you that there is no rice now. So in the third sentence, you can see many people came to visit the fair. So many is the word here which is telling you about the adjectives of quantity. If I ask you how many people, then maybe on the counting you can give me the exact number, maybe through the registration forms, those who have visited the fair. But many itself is giving you the clear idea that many means there are a number of people who difficult to count. And if I say few people came to visit the fair, so you will get the clear idea that fair was not so good and few people came to visit that. So this is how it is telling you about the quantity of noun, how much the thing, person or place is working in process. Now, let's have a look on the adjectives of number. Now, the name is also suggesting it's number. So, what is the adjective of numbers? And these adjectives are used to show the number of nouns and their place in an order. And these are they're different sections within adjectives of number. And they are, let me tell you, definite numeral adjectives, and these are those adjectives which clearly denote the exact number of nouns or the order of the noun. So, in definite numeral adjectives, we can have the examples such as 1, 2, 20, 30, 33, etc. And these are also known as cardinal number. First, second, third, or like ordinal numbers, seventh, etc. So these are actually showing you the definite numeral adjectives, and it is denoting you the exact number of the nouns or the order of the noun, how it is being situated in a particular place. All right, so this is how definite numeral adjectives is used in adjectives of number. Now the second type of adjectives of number is indefinite numeral adjectives, and in this, those adjectives that do not give an exact numerical amount but just give a general idea of the amount, like how it is given the general idea of amount. Indefinite numeral adjectives: some, many, few, any, several, all, etc. So you can have the example also, there were many people present at the meeting. This is somehow related to adjectives of quantity also, but we are taking it in a very finer description in adjectives of number also. So first we have seen adjectives of number, definite numeral adjectives. Secondly, indefinite numeral adjectives, and in this exact number is not given, but the general idea of the amount, either it is half, full, or maybe more than that, some, many, few, any, several. So these are the words which are used in this indefinite numeral adjectives. Clear? So now, next is the type of adjectives of number is that distributive numeral adjectives. Now, what is distributive numeral adjectives in adjectives of number? These are the adjectives which are used to refer to individual nouns within the whole amount. For examples, either, neither, each, another, other, etc. So taxes have to be paid by every employed citizens. That means it is referring to the individual nouns that all the person must pay the taxes. So whole amount is being told to you. So this is the characteristic of distributive numeral adjectives. To be more clear with that how it is working within two options, either or, either this pen or that pen, both are not working. So this is telling you that how it is referring to the particular nouns with a whole amount. All right, students. So these were the adjectives of number. So we have seen adjectives of quality, adjectives of quantity, adjectives of number till now. And in adjectives of number, we have seen three types of adjectives of number. First is definite numeral adjective. Secondly, indefinite numeral adjectives. Thirdly, distributive numeral adjectives. All right, students, now let's proceed further to the demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative means to show something. So, as it is as its name, so it's the work of this adjective. So, these adjectives are used to point out or to indicate a particular noun or pronoun using the adjectives. Like you are showing something, this, that, those, these, and these words will be used according to the singular and plural manner. So these are those adjectives which are pointing out something, pointing out a noun or a pronoun. So let's have an example like that bag belongs to Neil. That means the pointing out to that particular bag only. And the speaker is saying that bag belongs to Neil. So demonstrating. All right. In the second example, see this. Try using this paintbrush in art classes. That means that particular paintbrush is very useful in art classes. So this is demonstrative adjective. In the third example also you can see, I really like those shoes. So those shoes, those word is here used to point out the particular kind of shoes the user wants to use. All right. Then in the last example, you can see these flowers are lovely. So the particular flowers, the speaker is pointing out. These flowers are lovely. So it is how adjectives are telling you the quality, so identifying the noun with particular words. So this is how demonstrative adjectives. Now let's have a look on the interrogative type of adjectives, and these adjectives are used to ask questions. Interrogative means to interrogate something, to ask something. And when we have such type of sentences where the question is being asked and it is used to ask questions about noun or in relation to noun, they are used WH words like where, what, which, whose. These are all the interrogative words which frame the interrogative adjectives. And now let's have a look on the examples also. So in the first example, where did he say he was going? So in this example, the particular person is asking that where did the person say he was going? Was I having any answer of this? So this is how it is being explained in a very good way. All right, students, I hope you are understanding and see the next example. Read it very carefully. This is, what assignment did I miss out on? So there are some questions which needs to be answered. And when we are answering these questions, so it means we are actually giving that particular noun a good explanation. So, in these questions, like where did he say he was going, and what assignment did I miss out on? And then in the third example, which is your favorite author? Now you have to answer which is your favorite author. So, which is the word here, which is demonstrative adjective, interrogative adjective. So, whose pen is this? This is also another interrogative objective adjectives. So, whose pen is this? By showing the pen, if you are asking whose pen is this, all right, students. So, where, what, which, whose, these are the words related to interrogative adjectives. Now, let's have a look on the comparison of adjectives. How it is now. Comparison of adjectives is when we want to compare two or more nouns using adjectives. We use the comparative and superlative forms of the adjectives to show the comparison between the nouns. So there are many times when the teacher has to teach the students the right amount of the nouns. And for that, the teacher uses comparison. The comparison is here in comparative manner or in the superlative manner. So forms are being taught to the students and then adjectives are taught also. So this is how it is done. For examples, honey is sweet. Sugar is sweeter, but victory is the sweetest. Now you can have the three forms: positive, comparative, and superlative degree. So, sweet, sweeter, and sweetest are the three degrees which are given simultaneously in a sentence to show the comparison among honey, sugar, and victory. And the sweetest thing is the victory. All right, students. So now in this sentence, we are comparing three nouns using the positive, comparative, and superlative forms of the word sweet. And it can be dealt with many other words: good, better, best. All right. So these are some examples which I gave you about comparative adjective. Now, positive form. What is positive form? Let's understand about it. So these are the simple adjective, students, that simply describe the noun without comparing it to another big, sweet, clean, etc. So here we are not comparing. It is simply stating a sentence and it is simply telling us about how the thing is as it is. Like we have used big, sweet, and clean. If I say the room is clean, that means okay, fine, the room is clean. But if I say the another room is cleaner, so that means I'm comparing. But in some positive form, we are not going to make any comparison. The things are simply described without comparing. So this is how the positive form works. Now let's understand, students, the different thing about positive form. For examples, now there are, she has a big black dog, and it means it's a simple statement. Fine, she has a black dog and it is big. So, what kind of black dog? It is a big black dog. It's a positive statement. And adjective big is showing you the quality of black dog. And then, secondly, he is a sweet boy. So, this is also a simple statement. Sweet boy. What kind of boy is? He's a sweet boy. Then the cupboard is clean. All right, students. So these are some examples related to positive form of the examples. Now, comparative form. Comparison is made when there are two things. So comparing two nouns, we use some different words. And how it is made? Just have a look on this. These are used when we are comparing two nouns and need to show Which noun possesses the adjective or character in a greater or lesser amount when compared with the other? So, like bigger, sweeter, cleaner. That means sweet is definitely here, but sweeter must also be there if we are comparing it with something else. So, big is definitely there, but bigger is definitely also there if we are comparing that particular thing to another thing. And as I have told you, clean and the cleaner. One place is clean, but if you are comparing it with another place, then it might be cleaner. So this is how comparative form is telling you the adjective or character in a greater or lesser amount. How much great, how much less it is. Clear, students? Now, for example, students, just have a look. I have a big dog, but here hers is bigger. It means that I have a dog which is very big, but my sister is having another dog and that is bigger than mine. So I'm telling you here how much, great or less. So her dog is bigger. Clear? Now in the second sentence you can see he is sweeter than the other boys. That means simple comparison is there. Other boys are also sweet, but he is the sweeter. Okay, students? So the third example is telling you that the cupboard is cleaner than before. So many times you must have seen the cupboard. But this is the first time that you have seen that cupboard is cleaner than before. So there is a comparison. How much, great or less? Clear? Now I hope you are understanding, students. Now next you have to understand the form that is superlative form after positive form and comparative form, and superlative form, that is the highest form. And this is the form, students, which is telling you the best, less or best, the best thing, great thing. So this form is used when three or more nouns are being compared. And we need to show that one or more of the noun possesses the adjective or characteristics to the highest amount possible. So we usually add the before the superlative form. So just remember, this is a rule that we usually add the before superlative forms, like biggest, so the biggest, the sweetest, the cleanest. So these are all the forms of positive forms in a superlative form. Big, bigger, biggest. Sweet, sweeter, sweetest. Clean, cleaner, and the cleanest. When we are using them in a sentence, so we are definitely not going to forget using the article the before superlative form. Clear, students? Now, for example, you can have a look. She has the biggest dog in the colony. Like, now this sentence is definitely saying that no one else is having that big dog as she is having. So she is having the biggest dog in the colony. Now, the second sentence is saying he is the sweetest boy in his class. So that means there are some sweet boys, there are some sweeter boys, but he is the sweetest among them all. Nobody is competing him, and he is having the highest possession of sweetness. Clear, students? Now, the third example is telling you the cupboard is the cleanest thing in the house. That means no other corner of the house you will find as clean as the cleanest of the cupboard. So, this is how superlative form is telling you that it is the best. It is the best among three, four, or five, or many other nouns. So this is telling you the degree, how much great it is. Now, making comparatives and superlatives, let's learn about it. So, there are certain rules, students, that must be followed in the making of the comparatives and superlatives of the adjectives. And remember, not all adjectives form their comparatives and superlatives in the same way as we have learned, like adding er or est and then the article in front of superlative degree. It's not same with all the words. So there are also some irregular adjectives also, and that form completely different comparative and superlative forms. All right, students. Now, single syllable words and double syllable words ending with y, er, ow, le. Now, just listen very carefully. We use er to make the comparative and est to make the superlative. That's very clear. Like sweet. So if you are going to make it comparative, we will add er after that, sweeter. But if we want to make it superlative, best thing, so it will be sweetest. We will add est after that. For example, you can have black, positive, comparative, and superlative degrees are given to you. And there are some words in positive, comparative, and superlative form. Black, and if we are comparing, blacker. And if we are having the best superlative, that is blackest. Fair, fairer, and the fairest. Again, another example is related to clever, cleverer, cleverest. So these are all the examples related to positive, comparative, and superlative degree. Now, when there is a silent E at the end of the positive form, we remove that and add ER and EST. Okay, this is the rule you have to remember, that when there is a silent E at the end of the positive form, we remove that, and if we want to make it comparative, we will add er, and if we want to make it superlative, we will add est. All right, now let's have an example like nice. So nice, nice, and we, as I have told you, the rule e is silent here. Nice, late. So if we are making it comparative and superlative, nice, nicer, nicest, late, later, latest. So these are examples of positive, comparative, and superlative degree with this rule, that if you have silent T at the end of the word, then you will be using ER and EST for making comparative and superlative. Clear, students? Now next is next rule that you have to understand, that when the adjective ends with a Y, we convert the Y into I before adding ER and EST. Just have a look on this example. Pretty, lazy. So we have Y at the end of adjectives, pretty and lazy. But if we have to make the comparison, then we have to remove Y from pretty and lazy, like you can see the example, and we will be adding ER or EST at the end. So pretty will be prettier in comparative form, and pretty will be prettiest, the prettiest in superlative form. In the same way, lazy will become lazier in comparative form, and laziest in superlative form. All right, students. Now, next rule is there. If the adjective is a small one with little stress on the vowel, we double the last consonant. I again repeat the rule. If the adjective is small one, very small, with little stress on the vowel, we double the last consonant. And how it is going to happen, let's see. Now, it's a very small adjective, hot, wet. So now we are doubling the consonant T in both the adjectives. Hot will become hotter, and then hottest in superlative form. wet, wetter, and the wettest. Here we have doubled the consonant T and got the comparative and superlative form by adding ER and EST in the same manner as earlier we have done it. So these are some rules, students. You have to keep revising if you want to get mastery over it. And if you are practicing, more and more you practice for it, more and more you will be actually very efficient in using adjectives appropriately in the spoken form as well as in the written form. Clear, students? So now let's have another rules like other words with two or more syllables. So till now we have studied single syllables and now we are studying about two or more syllables. So for other double syllable words that do not end with Y, ER, OW, LE, and for adjectives with more than two syllables, we use more and most to form the comparatives and superlatives. So this is how it is being considered. Now, for examples, you can see more positive, comparative, and superlative degrees. And here we are talking about these some words which are given to you on your screen. Let's have a look on this, students, very carefully, and we are going to understand about them. Now, students, you see, I hope you have read it. So, positive, comparative, superlative. Now, you can see that in positive, difficult, we have used more difficult, and in superlative we have used most difficult. Then in careful, it's more careful in comparative and most careful. So more is used in comparative degree and most is used in superlative degree. Then in the positive, more handsome, most handsome. Then interesting, more interesting, most interesting. So you will have the clear idea how much great or less or how much comparison it is like. All right, students. So how it is being done. Now next is special adjectives. So there are a few adjectives that can use both er and est and more and most to form their comparative and superlative forms. So the distinction between these is that er and est are used when we are comparing the noun to another noun, and more and most is used when we are comparing characteristics with the noun. All right, students. Now let's have example next of it, like positive, comparative, superlative, and you will have some examples along with them. Now we have positive, that is clever, comparative, cleverer, or it can be more clever, and superlative, cleverest or most clever. And see the example how they are made. He is cleverer than her. So example, another example, he is more clever than studious. So how the comparison is made? The next positive example is quiet, and comparative, quieter, more quiet. Superlative, quietest, most quiet. And the example would be this is the most quiet place. And or it would be this is the quietest place. Then third is brave. A comparative is braver, more brave. Superlative would be bravest, most brave. And the example would be like she was more brave than afraid. So sure, sure, more sure, surest, most sure. So example would be you will be more sure about the concept after you read the chapter. So this is how I have explained you students how you are going to make comparative and superlative with adjectives. And for this, you have to know the correct form of adjectives if you want to get comparison or you want to get the best. All right, students? Now, let's understand about irregular comparisons also. What are the irregular comparisons in adjectives? These adjectives do not make their comparative and superlative forms using the rules above. Their comparative and superlative forms are different words altogether. Clear, students? Now, examples positive, comparative, and superlative. So, positive is bad, good, far, place, and time if you are talking about it. Then bad will become worse, and then superlative will be worst. Good, better, best. And then we are talking about far, place, further, furthest, far, farther, farthest. So old, older, eldest. And then next we are talking about little, less, least. So later, last, these are the another adjectives form. I hope you are understanding, students. Now, so these are something examples related to positive, comparative, and superlative degree. Now let's do some exercise, students. So directions are given to you like determine what type of adjectives are the following. And yes, we are ready to do them. So this is how honest. Now you have to come into my comment box that what type of adjectives they are. Adjectives of quality, honest, many, adjectives of quantity, these, demonstrative adjectives, what, interrogative adjectives, few, adjectives of quantity, five, adjectives of number, beautiful, adjectives of quality, best. This is again adjectives of quality with superlative form. Dozen. This is again adjectives of number. And then who, interrogative adjectives. So these are the adjectives types that we have studied just now, and we have done this beautiful exercise along with you. Now next exercise, students, let's have a look on this. Give the positive, comparative, and superlative form of the following adjectives, which we have just discussed now. So comparative is given to you prettier, and positive would be pretty, and superlative would be yes, it is prettiest. All right. Next is positive is given to you good, and the comparative would be better, and then superlative would be best. All right. Then in the same way, another thing is also given to you more, least, more brave, tall. So you have to do it accordingly. Clear, students? Now exercise 3 is also given to you. Direction, identify the following. Now you have to identify what are words that are used to describe noun and pronouns. So those words are called, yes, they are adjectives. So these adjectives are used to describe the nature of noun, so its quality. Then these adjectives are used to show the number of nouns and their place in an order. So adjectives of number, and it would be more definite numeral adjectives as we have learned just now. Clear, students? Now exercise next is identify the following continues. These adjectives are used to ask questions about noun or in relation to noun. Where, what, which, and whose. So we all know that these are the types of noun which are called. Yes, come on, you can type in my comment box. Yes, these are demonstrative adjectives. Clear, students? Now next question is, these are the simple adjectives that simply describe the noun without comparing it to the another noun, like big, big, sweet, clean, etc. So we all know that these are the positive type of adjectives. Understood, students? So I really hope that you have enjoyed this lecture of adjectives with me. And just to sum up, I want to say that adjectives are very important from your learning grammar as well as for your competitive exam, students. So in nutshell, just remember that adjectives are those words which are used to describe what kind of nouns and pronouns and to quantify them, how much of, and identify which one of them. So in a nutshell, adjectives are what define nouns and give them characteristics to differentiate them from other nouns. Clear, students? Then we have discussed about adjectives of quality, and I have told you that adjectives of quality are used to describe the nature of noun, and they give an idea, clear idea about the characteristics of the noun by answering the question what kind of. Clear, students? And then we have seen adjectives of quantity. So, and this adjective of quantity told us that it is helping to show the amount or the approximate amount of the noun or pronoun. And these adjectives do not provide exact numbers, rather, they tell us the amount in the noun in relative or whole terms. Like I gave you the example all, half, many, few, little, no, enough, great. So these are all the examples of adjectives of quantity. Then next we had discussed about adjectives of number. So adjectives of numbers are used to show the number of nouns and their place in the order. So there are three different sections which I have told you, and they were firstly definite numeral or numeral adjectives like 1, 2, 20 in cardinals, and then first, second, third, seventh in ordinals. So these are definite numeral adjectives, and then we talked about indefinite numeral adjectives. And these are those adjectives which do not give an exact numerical amount, but just give a general idea of the amount, like some, many, few, any, several. So these are all the types of indefinite numeral adjectives under the category of adjectives of number. Clear, students? And the third type of adjectives of number is distributive numeral adjective. And it tells us that those adjectives that are used to refer to individual nouns within the whole amount. So either, neither, each, another, other, these are all the examples of distributive numeral adjectives. Then we had discussed about the another type, that was demonstrative adjectives. Like it indicates, it points out a particular noun or pronoun using the adjectives like this, that, these, those. So these are the examples of demonstrative adjectives. Then we had also discussed about interrogative adjectives. So it was about these adjectives are used to ask questions about nouns, or in relation to nouns, they are where, or what, which, and whose. So basically, they are asking question about the noun and they are answering like whose pen is this? Clear, students? Now, then next we had understood about comparison of adjectives. Like when we want to compare two or more nouns using adjectives, we use the comparative and superlative forms of the adjectives to show the comparison between the nouns. And then we had discussed about positive form of the noun, which is simple describing statement. And I give you the example like big, sweet, clean. Simple statement is given, simple adjectives are used. But when we are talking about comparative form, so it means that uh, two nouns are being compared, and we need to show which noun possesses the adjective or character in a greatest or lesser amount. So when compared with the other, bigger, sweeter, cleaner, etc. So these are the words which are used in comparative form. Then next we have seen superlative form. Superlative, that is super. Okay, so this form is used when three or more nouns are being compared, and we need to show that one or more of the nouns possess the adjective and characteristics to the highest amount possible. So we usually add the before the superlative form, biggest, sweetest, clearest. All right, students, then we have seen many examples related to using positive, comparative, and superlative forms. All right, students, I really hope that you have learned about adjectives and its types and how to use the positive, comparative, and superlative forms. And believe me, students, if you are going to practice it more and more in your written as well as in spoken form, you will get mastery over it. All right. So I hope you have understood about adjectives and you will use them in your daily conversation as well as in your written skills also. Okay, students? So keep revising and see you in the next class. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, and keep learning. Thank you, students.